Today, I'm going to be teaching you why you feel tension in your solar plexus and what you can do about it. I got a great question that came in from somebody who said, "Why do I always feel tension from my solar plexus up to the top of my body?" First of all, this is very common. This is actually a healthy response that our bodies have to stress, trauma, and even potential danger. Now, where's the solar plexus? If you look down at your body, you take your hand and you trace your rib cage, your ribs have this point where they meet, and there's like a softness under that meeting place. Right there, that soft place where you can press in, where there's no bone, is your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is interesting because right in there is an exposure to your viscera. There's no bone protecting it. So if something were to pierce you or stab you there, it could end your life or potentially cause serious issues with your body. So our bodies tense, our muscles tense, our fascia tenses, and these parts tense up to create a protective wall against potential threat. It's the way the body braces for impact. Now, this is what's interesting about stress. Stress happens when we're not necessarily in danger. That's more of like a threat response. I can be working on emails all day. I can be making videos and talking really fast. I can be parenting my child and getting overwhelmed by her. There are so many things that happen that create overwhelm and stress that aren't inherently dangerous, yet the body still reacts in its old animalistic instinct of I need to protect my internal organs from potential impact or, rupture. So part of the tension in the solar plexus is that the body is bracing for some expected threat to occur. But the other part is the fight response. Fight response is one of our trauma responses that comes through automatically to help us fight off a potential or actual threat. One of the most common fight responses is when there's a mosquito or a fly buzzing around your head. You hear the mosquito, you see it, you hear a fly, you see a bee, and your hand naturally just swats. It does this. Not even to kill it, though some of you do, but just to get it away from you. That's the essence, that's the mechanics of a fight response. The body's trying to push away some possible invasive object or person. So, what does this have to do with the solar plexus? Well, if you think about your stomach, which is right in that area, throwing up, vomiting, feeling nauseous are often sensations we experience when we have a boundary violation. When someone says something to us that disgusts us, when someone makes us really angry, when we say yes but we mean no, or when someone actually attacks us, yells at us, or chases us, or even threatens our life. Sometimes you can feel a nausea. This is a very old animal instinct to vomit, to expel acid onto somebody to scare them off of you. It's something the animal body does when it can't run, when it can't fight, when it's pinned down. There are many instances around the world of people who are being sexually assaulted or held against their will physically that vomit on the predator, and it disgusts the predator and distracts them so we can get away. So fight response often shows up through nausea. When you're noticing a tension in your solar plexus and it builds up to your head, your body is orienting or mobilizing to have some kind of big release. But because stress doesn't mean threat or danger, the release doesn't always happen. Let me explain that a little better. If someone was running at me, I would run away. If a ball was being thrown at me, I would hit it out of the way. If an animal was attacking me, I might punch or hit back if I can't run. There'd be no question there. My body would take over. But when I'm working for 8 hours and I go home, my family stresses me out. There's no one to fight there. They haven't done anything worth hurting them or fighting off any kind of attack or danger toward my life. But my body still has the desire to have a fight response. This is why we tend to scream and yell and erupt at people. This is why we tend to unconsciously become aggressive or even violent with people sometimes, because our animal urges are to fight off something overwhelming us, even if it's not threatening. So instead of living in a state of tension and constriction and nausea, there is a way to move through this. But before I tell you that, I just want to make sense of something first. Those of you that have chronic stomach issues related to emotions are often living in a repressed fight response, meaning your vocalization of how you feel, your physical boundaries, or even your lifestyle, things you want to change about your life that you haven't yet, that can be felt in the body as a repressed fight, meaning I don't say what I really feel, I swallow it. I don't push away when I need to, I pull back. I don't change the things in my life that would really benefit me because I'm trying to make other people happy. All that becomes resentment, and that sits in that solar plexus and tightens up, and it starts to inflame and impair our digestion and our digestive tract, and can even lead to autoimmune issues. Hey, my friends. I created a space that is affordable, accessible, and anyone is allowed to join anytime, and it's called the Library Membership. The Library Membership is an online private platform that hosts dozens of my webinars, my somatic practices, private mini lectures, and movement practices. There's also a monthly sound healing, and you'll be invited to a weekly Tuesday live mini practice with me and other participants. You'll also be invited to be a live audience member in our monthly HLN team podcast recordings, where you'll take place in the Q&A that happens off air after the episode is filmed. For more information on this membership, click on the link below, or go to holisticlifenavigation.com and click on membership and then library. You can join right now, and you can cancel or pause your subscription at any time. I look forward to seeing you in there. So consider how profoundly healing and expressive and transformative it can be just to get in touch with this potential repressed fight that you might have in your body. So how are we going to do this? You're going to take your hands or a pillow and put it over your solar plexus and belly and just give a little pressure. And at the same time, let your head be held by something. So your spine's being held, your head's being held, and you have your hands or a pillow over your belly and you're giving some pressure. And just notice what kind of breath emerges, how your breathing changes. What do your shoulders do? How does your jaw feel? And the muscles in your face. Do things start settling? Do things start activating? Just notice. And then I'm going to teach you something called the VU sound. Peter Levine, who developed somatic experiencing, developed this VU technique. It's like Om, but we're saying the sound VU. And you're breathing in, and as deep as you can, you're saying VU. And you want to go really deep so you feel the vibration in your gut, your solar plexus, all the way up your throat and mouth. What this does is gives that repressed fight, that repressed scream, some sense of agency to move and unfurl, instead of actually screaming and kicking and reenacting fight and just activating your body up more. So many people think you release anger by screaming and kicking and hitting things. All that does is further dysregulate you, and then in the exhaustion, you think you've released something when really you're just overwhelmed. So give some pressure, feel your head being supported, open your eyes and see the room you're in. Take a breath and say VU. When you say it as long as you need to till you run out of breath. Then you take a breath and you pause, maybe close your eyes for a few seconds and scan your body. Notice, did that sound release some tension in my solar plexus? Did that sound bring a new emotion forward? Did a movement occur? Do I need to yawn? Are my feet on the ground, or are they flat on the bed or whatever surface I'm on, or are my legs crossed? Make sure they're uncrossed and your feet are flat. And let's try it again. Head and back supported, looking around the room to see where you are, taking a deep breath, and and again, letting your breath come back in, letting your head stay held, noticing how your stomach feels, your solar plexus, your chest, your face. Sometimes we have to do this 4 or 5 times. Sometimes we do it once. See what it's like to play with the sequence of a little pressure on the solar plexus, support on the back and head, taking in where you are, having your feet flat on the ground, and inhaling and exhaling the sound VU as deeply as you can. See where this takes you, but more importantly, more than anything I've said, see what instinct, what intuition, what wisdom emerges in your body just from watching this video. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching today's episode. Please like and subscribe if you found it useful, and let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next.